It never ceases to amaze me the things that people get up to. I've got this crank from the 350 Royal Enfield Bullet trials held in the chuck of the lathe now by its drive shaft, drive side main shaft, which has been cut short, like is sometimes found on these trials machines where they don't want to run the alternator anymore, so they cut a good couple of inches off the end of the main shaft to get the early style primary cases on, which makes for a narrower engine and better clearance and so on, which is obviously favourable for a trials machine. But what someone's managed to do with this one is when they've cut the main shaft shorter, they've drilled into the end of it to tap a thread so that they can use a bolt to hold the engine sprocket on. But they've not drilled in the centre of it. It's all off centre and lopsided, so I can't suspend this crank between centres by the ends of the main shafts as I usually do to check for runout. So what I've done, as you can see, I've got it in the chuck of the lathe there, held by the drive side main shaft, and I spin the whole lot, and I can actually see, I don't know whether the camera is going to pick this up, I'm going to zoom it in. Let's see what we get here. But there's a tremendous amount of runout on this. Notice the timing side flywheel. Hopefully you'll be able to see that going up and down relative to the drive side one, and the main shaft, timing side main shaft, is also going up and down with it, so a hell of a lot of run out there. Now, unfortunately, when I come to put this back together, I'm going to be splitting it soon to have a look at the big end. I'm not going to be able to true it in the usual way. I'm going to have to true it by holding the drive side flywheel in the chuck of the lathe and moving the timing side one as required, and hopefully take readings off the timing side main shaft, assuming that we got a 0 on there, which is very unlikely to be a dead 0. And then when I get it somewhere near close, what I'm going to have to do is probably just trial assemble it in the crankcases, in the main bearings, clamp the cases together and see if I can spin the crank freely or not, and if not, continue trying to true it to a lower run out until I reach a point where it will spin freely in the cases and the main bearings. That's the only option I think I've got here. But anyway, the next job is going to be split the crank. It's not even really worth taking figures, although I suppose we could amuse ourselves with some. Let's see what we might get from it. Might as well, since we've got the equipment here, take a look at the horrendous run out that we've got. So this clock reads in thousandths of an inch, of course. And we've got 0 to 10. I'm not even going to set it to 0 really. Let's see, hang on. Oh, I see, hang on. Bear with me a sec. Look at that. We have got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, nearly 60 thousandths of an inch run out there, which is roughly 1.5 millimeters. I'm sure we can do better than that. How on earth that thing was ever supposed to run or expected to run like that, God only knows. But next up we'll take a look at the big end and see what sort of shape that's in. Obviously it's going to need changing. So out of the lathe and into the fly press, we'll get these flywheels apart and have a look in there, see what we got.